today. I hope that we all had a chance to look at the agenda. And now we're going to start the call to order at 6:02. Shall we stand for pledge allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Mr. Johnson, can we have roll call?
Sure. So we have Victoria, the DCPLA, Victoria Magdalene, Sarah Spence, the Youth Services Coordinator, Stephen Stolte, Assistant City Manager, Teresa Fapua, the Head of the Board of Trustees, and Board Members Justine Santos and Lauren Doss.
All present. Thank you. Okay. Can I have the approval for the agenda, please?
I motion.
And I'm assuming Lauren will second if she can. Well, I can second.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. So you have the approval of the regular meeting of May 18, which is that we have. I know that we were missed for a meeting, so I feel like we're behind schedule a little bit. I don't know how bad or how good, but hopefully it's not a big din. Mr. Johnson or Mr. Stowe? We're not missing a lot.
No, we're good. I think we're good on timeline. So, and we can get into all the updates that we have saved up for you since the last meeting after you approve the minutes.
Okay. So can we have the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, May 18, 2021?
I motion.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Can I have their director's report, please?
Okay, we have Cole Johnson filling in for Chayla tonight. So Cole, take it away.
Well, Trayla's provided me a PowerPoint presentation on the library policies, as well as a, we're going to talk a bit about the work we've done on those policies, but she didn't prepare a report for me, so I don't have anything further.
Cole, would you like to get started with Summer Learning 2021?
Absolutely. Sarah will be handling that one.
Yeah, I can do that. So I'm going to try to share my screen here. Let's see. Oh, sorry, my neighbor's crying outside. Let's see. Oh, wait. Can you share? Oh, yeah, I can share. I can't find my thing. Sorry, I don't see it on my, oh no, I can't see my screen.
Cole, do you happen
Do you
to
have it? Yeah.
I have the privileges to share, but I don't have the presentation. If you want to send it to me, I can do that.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me share with you. Sorry about that, everyone.
No problem.
All good, Sarah.
And I apologize in advance. I've had 18 months of Zoom meetings, but this is my first time being a Zoom administrator, so there might be a hiccup or two.
Hiccups are good.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries, y'all. I think you all are on this call with a bunch of educators who have been navigating Zoom all year.
Yes.
Okay. I sent it, Cole.
Okay, let me check my
Do you see
email
it?
quickly.
Okay. I'm using my husband's Mac, and I'm not like very familiar with it, obviously. Sorry. Do you see it?
I do.
Okay, thanks.
I have your presentation, but my computer is asking me to allow the security settings to do so. So one moment, please.
We're really
If it's
smarter
okay
than
with
this.
everybody, while you're working on Mr. Johnson, we can go ahead and go with review of library policies, and then we can circle back to you if that's okay, Mr. Stoll.
That's fine with me. Cole's going to have to share that presentation on library
Oh.
policies as well.
It
So-
is.
Oh, okay.
I will say, though, I think that we could just talk about it. I don't know how much the policies actually lend to the discussion, but we could do it in a text-based way and just talk about
Let's
it.
share the PowerPoint since it was created.
Okay.
You guys can send it to me too if you want.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. I'll send both of them to Stephen because he's
Okay.
familiar with this process. And Sarah, I'll send yours as well since I have it open.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, they've both been sent. Stephen, are you able to control the screen or as a...
I should be able to. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I want to say that it doesn't matter how sometimes people prepare for these kind of Zooms. You can prepare for it for like a month, but it's always a hiccup.
So true.
True.
So
There
Oh,
true.
you-
great. Thank you, Stephen.
Of course, Stephen is Mr.
I know.
Pro at these.
Okay, we hope it's up now. So just tell me
Yeah.
when you want me to advance to the next slide, Sarah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So this was before we started. So we've already started summer learning, but just to go over it with all of you again, we started summer learning June 1st. And so we have, it's similar to past years, but we have 2 reading logs, one's for children and one's for teens and adults. So everyone can participate in the reading program. Youth 18 and younger who finish the reading program will get entered into a raffle for $1,000 scholarship. So that is, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I put on July 1st on the slide. Not July, it's June 1st through August 31st. So you can forward, Stephen, please. So this is what we did before it actually started. So I was really happy this year. We were able to go to every single school in Daly City public schools. So it's just a list of all the schools that we went to promote the reading program. We bought books and reading logs. And we went to, let's see. Oh, we went to the 87th Street CDC. So I think I saw Teresa there. So we went to all the schools, which is great. We didn't get to like, that was at Bayshore, that picture. And so the principal had us come and just, when kids were picking up their lunches, they were able to pick out a free book. So that was fun. All right, you can move forward, please. And then our community outreach, we've partnered more with recreation this year. So they haven't done very many of these pop-up programs, but they wanted to kind of promote the different parks in Daly City for people that didn't know about them. And so we haven't really done that much, but we've done Gellert Park for sure with them, and just kind of also promoted the library. They have something called Cold Summer Nights with recreation. And so those are only at Gellert Park. That's us at the first one, I think. So we had books and brought the button maker, and I was so excited because those girls were teenagers, and I thought they were excited about the buttons, but they saw books that they wanted. So I was so excited. So we've done that. There's another one next month that we're gonna do. And then we were just at Gellert Park on Saturday for the ribbon cutting. So we did promotion for the reading program. We gave out some craft kits, and Victoria was there as well promoting BCPLA. So, all right, move forward, please. So our partnerships this year, like I said, we're doing more with the recreation department. If you remember last year, we did our rec and reading. So I would read a book, and then David Zetzer would do some kind of cooking based on the book, and then we'd show that video once a week. And so we kind of added on to that. So now we're doing, it's like a whole story time video every Thursday. So it includes me or Amy, who's been helping me out reading a book. And then there's, we usually do a song, and then recreation also makes a craft. They also make a recipe, and then sometimes there's games. So it's just like, maybe like a 20-minute video that we put up. It's posted on the library and Rec's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram channels. Along with that, we decided, since we're not doing in-person programming, we could make these craft kits. So I think we're doing a total of 6 craft kits. And so they're the crafts that recreation is creating and showing on the video. And then what we're doing is we're making kits at the library and giving them out the week before at all the branches. So this week we made, we're doing a flying dragon. And so that's at all the branches. And then the video will show on Thursday. So we're just doing it like maybe twice a month. And Daily Fun. Oh, I did. Daily Fun is another program with recreation where they get kids to sign up, and it's just a time for them to like make crafts with things they have around the house, or David has gone on from recreation and showed them how to make a recipe. So I went on the 16th and we shared the garden kits that we've been giving out. So those kids that are registered for the Daily Fun, it's actually not daily, it's weekly, but they came and got their garden kits from the libraries. And then we talked about summer reading, we talked about the garden kits. And then next week, the theme is magic. And so we will be bringing a magician virtual program next Monday. And so those kids from the Daily Fun are going to be able to see him, as well as anyone that registers on the library's website. And then the second thing that we've been doing is the Big List, Inspiring Summer Camp. We've been working with them in the past years. It's for rising K to 3rd grade, and it's through San Mateo County and Office of Education. There's 2 schools in Daly City that are participating this year, and it's 5 weeks, full day programs. We received a $2,000 grant from the Pacific Library Partnership to provide pop-up programs for those sites because they're providing lunch at the lunch for the students. So Susan B. Anthony and Thomas Edison are the schools. And so far, today, actually, we just hosted one virtual magic show. This is their last week for Thomas Edison. And then on Thursday, we're hosting a virtual puppet show for Susan B. Anthony. So I've been working with them. I'm going to be bringing books out tomorrow to the schools for the kids. So it's about 300 kids, K through 3rd grade. Okay, is there anything else? Is there another one? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, there's one more. Okay, so our program, since we're not doing in-person programming, we're continuing with our regular story times online. I transitioned from Facebook to Zoom, so it's kind of a little more interactive with the kids. We're not getting like super high numbers, but it's so much better because I can actually see the kids and they can see me and talk with me. And then we still do our baby story time on Facebook Live. And then our weekly rec and reading videos. Selena's still doing the Tagalog story time, and we're having our Spanish story time once a month. And we had a virtual drag story time. Unfortunately, we didn't have anyone register for that. So we will have to try it again when we do in-person programming. But the performer was nice enough to let us post a video, just a pre-recorded video of her. So that is on our site. And then next Monday we have the magic show. And I didn't put it on here, but we're also doing a puppet show in August. Okay, I think that might be all. So yeah, so that's all. And I also wanted to thank Victoria. The BCPLA provided another grant for us to help with summer learning. So I was able to get a really great collection from Scholastic of books, more books. And so like I'm going to be bringing those out to the schools, and we'll just continue to have some great items for summer. So thank you. Is there any questions?
Thank you so much, Sarah, for I know that the children at our site, they know you and familiar with you. So hopefully that's a good transition when they go to elementary school. They'll remember, oh, that's the librarian, that's the lady that reads to me. So yeah, it's a really good transition that they're familiar with your face. Mm-hmm. I have like 2 questions on Big Lift. What was the percentage of the enrollment from both schools? Or and is there a number that we cap on it?
What's the percentage of enrollment? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Were we high or we were low or we?
Yeah. I don't know the exact percentage, but they did tell me when they were registering that the Daly City schools filled up the fastest out of all of the cities that are doing it. So I think they're almost full. I don't know if they're completely full, but I can find out for sure.
Okay. And then the second one for the 2000, was it 2000? The $2,000, the grant. So what's that allocated to? Who does it go towards? Does it go to the school that has more, students involved, or does it go to salaries of the staff that are,
Well, there's different grants available. So the one, since we could have, like, if we were doing like a lunch at the library, we could have applied for a grant for ourselves. But since we're not, this is just to help with like I said, they call it pop-up programming. So it's kind of like whatever they need. So I just spoke, there's kind of 2 people that are overseeing each school. And so I've been in contact with them, and I just asked them what would be helpful for you. Because San Mateo County libraries are also contributing. And so they're doing like the curriculum and the teachers and everything. So what the schools wanted was just kind of a big like celebration at the end. And so in normal times, we would probably bring in a real performer, but obviously we can't do that right now. So they were happy with the virtual performer. And then the second part of it was I just was able to get a lot more books. So those are the books I'm going to be bringing in.
Thank you.
Answer?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Fellow trustees, did you guys have any questions or any comments?
I don't have any questions. I don't have any questions. I think just props to y'all for maintaining. I did see that you all are expanding your your in-person services a little bit at the library.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a little bit more what that looks like for y'all?
Yeah. Do you want to share, Cole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can talk about that. So we're mainly back to our normal operating schedule. We're still waiting to get some new staff members to come into Bayshore to restore their hours, and bringing in the new librarian too at the John Daly branch. But we're pretty much operating as normal. We're seeing lots of families come in participating in the summer learning program, and we have the plexiglass. That's about it. As far as things being different, we're still sanitizing things. People are a little bit more socially distanced. But I went to a meeting of the librarians in the county today, and we are kind of leading the pack in a way as far as being open, because many of them still have very reduced hours and not even planning to open until the fall. So we are leading the pack in that way.
And are you all seeing library patrons like responsive to the expanded hours? Like people are coming to library at those times?
We're getting such good feedback from people saying how happy they are to be back. And, someone said, I didn't realize how much this place meant to me until I couldn't come here. And we're just hearing such good things. And people are really happy to see us. And we're happy to see them.
Awesome.
That's nice.
I think the one thing that we're unable to do, of course, is the in-person children's programming. So that will be a really great boon for us when we can get back to that.
I do also wonder if you all are keeping it virtual now that people are coming into the library, if maybe just continuing to put out more like marketing materials, maybe more people will join. Yeah, because it seems like maybe the online way of accessing the information wasn't as effective, but if they're going back to the library, then are you all still going to keep like flyers and stuff so people know?
Yeah, we do have a bulletin board, for instance, in Saramonic, and Sarah and I actually just started working on making a big poster listing all the Zoom events so that we can drum up some interest in that way, because that's typically where we advertise our story times and special performers. So, I mean, there is a lot of Zoom fatigue, as you're aware of, kids going to school, and then you expect them to like join a story time. Of course, it's summertime now, but, it's mainly getting the kids off the screen is the challenge for parents.
The pop-ups are great ideas, very great idea. And what Bayshore did, when they pick up the lunch, they also pick up a book. So you know, we have children that are bookworms, and we have children like, oh, what's the book, you know, but then another child can inspire another child. So when they see somebody picking up a book, because most of it's online now, but it's nothing better than to have the actual book in, you know, in your
Yeah.
hands. So thank you, Sarah. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're welcome.
I'm looking forward to I'm interested in finding out about that drag story time. And I don't know why we didn't have a lot of hit on that one. Maybe because of the name, or what was it?
I don't know. I mean, we didn't have anybody complain about it. I just think in general our virtual programs, the numbers have been lower than in person, and so I definitely want to bring her when we're able to do in person again. She said she was so excited to come to Daly City, so we'll definitely have her.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome.
So let's move. Miss Lauren?
I'm okay. I just want to appreciate you all for organizing and adapting to, you know, like virtual and like in person. So I'm looking forward to whatever, you know, is next.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So review of library policies.
Okay, I'm going
Absolutely.
to share, let me share screen.
And just to add to what Teresa said, the kids are so excited to get the free book when they come in and sign up for summer learning, and that's really a positive thing. Okay, so I understand that everyone's been looking at the policies for a while now, and so Chayla gave me this to present to you, which is her findings. So would you advance, please, Stephen? So would it be helpful to pull the policies up on the screen, or is everyone kind of familiar with them because you've been reviewing them?
If I can just suggest we go through the presentation first, so we don't get too lost in text.
Right.
Okay, sure. Yeah, if there's any questions, we can refer to the policies. It may not be strictly necessary. So we have the computer use policy and internet use policy. The internet use policy dates from August 2010, which is the stone age of the internet. And I think we were using Friendster back then. So she suggested that we combine these two, because there was a time when the internet wasn't on every computer in the library. Some of them are just dedicated research stations, but now they're all internet enabled. So she's suggesting that we combine them into one policy because there is some redundancy between the two. I don't think it's necessary to check them, but if you have any questions about that, we can look at those.
Okay.
Okay. Then we have the exhibits and displays policy and the public postings policy. So we have an area where people can come and post events, usually free events, always free events, nothing commercial, things that are of interest to the community. And the exhibits areas have been greatly reduced. We used to have a dedicated exhibit area at the Saramonic branch. That's no more because they rehabbed the building and removed it as part of the ADA expansion of the bathrooms. So we really just have the display areas at Bayshore. Westlake does not have one. Sarah, John Daly has one, is that correct? I believe they do.
Yes, they do.
Okay, I don't go to that branch very often. So we don't have a lot of exhibit space. The public postings, you know, nothing's really changed there, but they haven't been looked at in over a decade for the exhibits, and it's, you know, coming on 6 years for the public postings. Again, she recommends making them more concise by combining them. And before the meeting, I reviewed them all, and I could see how that would be beneficial. I think we have, is it 13 policies? And you know, the more streamlined it can be, the better, in my opinion. If there are any questions about that, we could look at them or proceed.
So if there's any way we can actually bullet down there, the actual locations that have availability for postings. to make it more transparent to them, so that I don't have to guess. So which library should I go for posting?
Right. So for postings, we do it at all four, but the exhibits are the two branches of Saramonic and Beige. Oh, sorry. Sarah said they also have it at John Daly. So we have the exhibit space at all branches except for Westlake, who does not have one. So that would be the one exception, is Westlake does not have an exhibit area.
Okay.
All right, great. This next one is a very important one, I would say, out of all of them. It's the the records of our patrons, which we do not have ownership of. They go to the plan, which is the IT branch of the Peninsula Library System. All the consortium, all the records go to plan. So if for instance, we were to have law enforcement make a request about the usage of the library by a patron, we can't access that locally. So Chayla said that would need to be updated. And there's also the information as regards to the Patriot Act, which was last looked at in 2010. So we need to make sure that that's current because of the changing nature of the legal of that. So do we have any questions about that?
Do we need to put there a specific age of what? If anybody needs to have access to those records?
I think, and we can look at it, but I'm not sure what the language says at the moment, but it would need to reflect the process of how actually it doesn't,
the language,
because it is a law enforcement nature, so they would come to us and then we would direct them to the appropriate person at plan. Since it doesn't apply to the general public, I don't think it wouldn't be necessary to outline that, because it's a special case that relates to law enforcement in that instance.
Okay.
Okay, I think we can proceed then to the next one, please, Steve. So the next couple of policies fall under the work that the CRAE committee is doing, which Sarah is a part of, and also Allison Green and Selena Torona. I believe they presented once to the board so far about their work, and what they're doing is looking at how we provide library services and making sure it is equitable and inclusive to all of our members of the community. And so one of these is the behavior policy. And I think that primarily applies to, they're looking at children in the library. For instance, can you have an older sibling be with you as a child? Sarah, do you have any insight into the CRAE work that's being done on the policies? It's okay if you don't, I'm not putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right what you just said. So I don't really have more to cover on that.
Okay, great. And I'll skip fines and fees for the moment because materials selection and unattended child policy are also being looked at by that committee, the CRAE committee. So we'll have updates. I believe they're planning to make a presentation or provide updates on a fairly regular basis to the board. So you can look for that to be to have Allison and Selena and Sarah speak to you about what they're working on in the future. With regard to fines and fees, we're one of the few libraries in the county that's still charging fines. A lot of them are going fine-free, and so it would be. What do you think about that, Teresa?
Yeah, I think we need to follow suit and go fine for y'all.
I think I did for the library some money too. I think like $5. Yeah, well,
yeah.
Let's talk about it. It's hard days. I mean, what are some of the things, or what are some of the items, or what are some of the materials that or areas that that money directly, that fines and fees, it's actually go towards? What is it?
Yeah. So the fees, they go into, I believe, and Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, they go into the general fund of the city. So
That's the whole. They go straight in the whole bucket.
that's right. And so the reason why, and I support this, just to put it out there, is that we're reducing barriers to usage. So at the moment, your card can be blocked and you can't access materials when you reach a certain threshold of, I believe it's $15. I don't deal as much with the circulation, but once you reach that threshold, you're not able to use materials. And so I've always felt, and this is kind of the trend in libraries, is what's important is getting materials in the hands of people. We're not a business. We're here to provide access, and in one way we can do that is to not put fiscal barriers in front of people that want to use the library. And so we've already done it for children's materials and teen cards. So this is something that'll have to go in front of City Council to be approved. Of course, we're looking for your insight and support on this as well. So yeah, for me, it's an equity issue. It's a barrier to access. It will have an impact on the city to some degree, and I don't have a figure as far as to what kind of revenue we bring in from those fees off the top of my head.
If I could add here, on Monday, July 26th, the City Council will be considering an extension of the elimination of overdue fines, basically, on all materials. At the start of the pandemic, the library eliminated overdue fines just because we weren't even accepting materials back at all the branches regularly. So we want to continue that fine elimination and extend it until the Cultivating Racial Equity and Inclusion group comes out with their final recommendations on fines as well. So that's going before the council on Monday, and it makes perfect sense. Also, that we would be staying in concert with other libraries, and the total revenue reduction just with that action would be about $5,000 or less. So it's not a large hit to the budget.
Not a large amount, right?
Right.
Not for over 100,000 people at all. And so, yeah, I was speaking primarily from my own feeling when I talked to other librarians, but thank you for that background, Stephen. And so this would be something we're looking at on an ongoing basis, again, predicated on the recommendation.
Yeah, we can come back to that circle. We can revisit this policy. Yeah, for our next board meeting. Thank you, Stephen, for relating or conveying that great information.
Of course, and we hope to have more information on fees and fines later in the fall for your review.
Okay.
And of course, patrons would still be responsible for billed items, those items that aren't returned. So it's primarily just that fee that is sort of an arbitrary fee for being late, in my opinion, and in the opinion of others. Okay, so Stephen, maybe advance to the next slide. All right, so the Library Bill of Rights, this is basically something that reflects what the American Library Association puts forth. So it was last updated in January 2019, and again, it points to something that our professional organization authors. So I don't think there's much to say about that. Also, with the Freedom to Read statement, which is also published by the American Library Association. This refers to the philosophy of libraries providing open access to materials regardless of the age of person. We don't censor things. We're here to connect people with the information we want. And, we stand aligned with those principles as well. The final, there is one more slide, so there may be more. The right to privacy was last updated in October 2010. So we will need to look at that again. It's over a decade since we looked at that, and it's aligned with the Public Records Act and with federal confidentiality laws. So this is important. If in library school, we always give the example of a child coming to the library, maybe asking for books about LGBT issues, and we provide that regardless of age. We don't ask for approval from a parent, for instance. And if the parent comes in and says, "What is my child reading?" the child has a right to privacy after a certain age to to their the confidentiality of their records. Sarah, do you know offhand for children's, it's a 10 or it's a very low age?
I was thinking it was 14, but maybe
It's 14?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, for some, obviously, if you have a child that checks out a stack of picture books, you need to know what they are because you have to return them. But once they reach a certain level of maturity, you know, basically they have the right to read what they want and have that be confidential.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Because when a child signs up for, even with that age, signs up for a library card, they still need the parent to come there. Or
we did change that. I'll let Sarah speak about that, but we did adapt that for teens. Sarah, do you want to talk about access with regards to children and teens?
I'm not sure what what we changed.
Oh, about
sorry.
the age of,
If-
you know, the school ID, you only have to be 14 to get a card and so forth.
Oh, so once they're 14, they don't need a parent.
Exactly. So
they don't need a parent to sign for them.
yeah, so that's kind of the age of maturity in the library world.
oh, okay. And then when they lost the book, who pays for the book? The money, the parents are going to pay for the book.
They are still they are still on the hook because we do
And the
have.
fee. Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know about that because when my children were young, I still had to be at that age.
Mm-hmm.
I had to sign up for the library cards and be there.
Yeah.
So when was that even revised or established?
You know, I think we would have to look at that because when you sign up for a children's card, you are listed as this basically the co-signer on the card. Now, with regard to the teen card, because they're signing up by themselves, they don't have someone listed as being responsible, and teens cannot technically enter into a contract that, you know, like that. So I'm not sure. I can have Chayla follow up with that.
So to answer your question, just to jump in here, there is an exemption in our right to privacy policy that allows the parent or guardian of a minor child to access information on overdue or lost materials only.
Okay.
So that's still in there.
Does it speak about financial culpability, Stephen, in that policy?
It does not.
Yeah, I think it doesn't come up. I mean, I think I would see it if it does come up, but honestly, I haven't seen it since we changed that. And to answer your question, I think it was it's been a few years now. It's been 2 or 3 years now since teens have been able to do that.
Okay.
But mainly they're responsible users. Okay, we can proceed to the final slide. All right, we have the 3D printer policy, and we've talked a bit about this one because when we initially started out, we had some concerns about the grant-funded nature of it, or you know, the problem of buying the materials, the filament, the actual plastic that it's made out of is, you know, fairly expensive. So we had fairly restrictive at first. We were talking about, oh, are we going to limit it to size or the time it takes to print, and now we're kind of taking it on a case-by-case basis and reserving the right to modify a design if we find it to be something that'll take 10 hours to print, or if it's going to take an excessive amount of filament, we might look at it. But that's sort of the only issue with the 3D printer that we've come across. It's been not hugely popular, but it's been pretty cool to see people come in and with their own designs and want to create something. So that's been a really great thing. And of course, we made the policy when we brought that on in 2015. The emergency closure policy, I'm not aware of any changes or things that we're looking at there. It was created in November 2019. Library card policy might need to be adapted at times because Shayla's pointed out in her presentation that it must be aligned with PLS processes. So if there's something that changes on a consortium level, we also have to respond to that. At the moment, it reflects current procedures. It was last updated in April 2016. The public use of the Saramonic community room was last updated in November 2019, and we have some good news. We will be allowing people to come back in September to the community room. So I've had, as soon as we opened all of our book clubs, we have 2 active book clubs. I mean, at the Ceremony Library inquired, can we please come back in? You know, we've been meeting on Zoom. We want to get back in the building. So I'm happy to report that we've got them signed back up again. They asked about masks, and I said it's going to be something we'll have to respond to because, as you know, things can change quite a lot in the coming months. I told them to bring their mask with them and check in with me before they come. And Sarah will be doing her story times in there when we reopen, because it has a door that can be open for ventilation, which, as we know, is hugely important to mitigate the spread of COVID. And because typically she does it in the public area and the children's room. So that's sort of the only change. I don't think that needs to be written in the policy because it's a temporary modification to how she does her story times. And that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, we can refer to the policies, or we can get back to you with anything that we can answer here.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I'm sure I have a couple of questions, but I think it's better for us to go through each. And if you don't mind, maybe you or Jayla can actually list it all the, and what the action was taken today, so that way we don't, repeat it the next time we meet. So if it doesn't need to modify, if it doesn't need to revise, it stays as it is. We'll just keep those, but the ones that we need some modification and revisit it or apply a different language or a different whatever needs to be added or take away, I would love, if that's okay with you guys to do that, to make it easier for us, because I have that down for our next meeting.
Oh, sure. I'll meet with Jayla and talk about what we discussed today. And I just want to add that it's easy to add a policy, but I think it's great that we're looking at them and sort of streamlining them and removing the antiquated ones.
Thank you so much.
You're
Totally
welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you for Jayla.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're now moving to trustees report. And the first one was the results of the survey for gathering community input for the reopening safety. Did we have any?
I do have some results from the survey that I can. Did Jayla share those with you, or I'm not sure if you've seen them?
I saw it, but I didn't see any specific numbers. It was just for me to complete the survey.
Oh, I see.
When I opened it.
Okay.
I don't know about the other trustees.
Yeah, I haven't seen one. I know we also didn't end up having, we missed one of our most recent sessions. So maybe that could have been the session Jayla wanted to share.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So she we didn't have a lot. We had 9 total responses. And instead of 9, you're right. It'd be great to have more engagement, but we placed it prominently on the homepage of the website, and we put it in the newsletter, I believe. So we tried to drum up some interest in it, but I can share some highlights. I don't think it's necessary to put it on the screen because it's
No, okay.
It's just text. But
was it only in one language?
let me sort of review it here. So. Well, I'll answer that about languages, but the first question was, how do you anticipate using the library now that it has reopened for in-person services? People were interested in obviously visiting the library, working in the library. They want to come to live events, which obviously we're on hold for. They're interested in getting books in their hands, getting their holds. Someone said, my husband went in on the opening day. It was great. They were able to browse things physically. It feels like a breeze. They want to see things return to as normal as possible. our newspapers are very popular. People want to read their newspapers and they want to study. Now that's a huge thing that people want, is just that third space of being able to get out of the house and study or work on their projects. So that was the main, those were the 9 responses to how they anticipate using the library now that we've reopened for services. Second question was, in the past year of operating mostly virtually, what do you hope the library continues to practice as it relates to that virtual nature? So people wanted to see drive-through pickup of library books. They like story times and crafts virtually. They want virtual classes, book clubs for kids. The trivia night, which Catherine Mills from Saramonic Library runs, is very fun. They'd like to do those in person, perhaps at a local joint. Other libraries have done this, and I can attest to this, that, you know, there's often trivia nights held at brew pubs and people have a drink and a hamburger and talk about, do the trivia night. So that could be something we look at. People ask about no fines on adult cards. Is that an option? It's been nice to have no fines on the adult cards. Then moving on, we have the third question. What does the library need to include in safety protocols in order for you to feel safe? And I think we've done a really good job of this because of the things that we put into place. People want to see masks required indoors, sanitizing materials, and that was multiple responses. Someone says, we feel very safe so far. There's few patrons. It's so easy to distance from other people. Hand sanitizer is easily available. Maybe keep doors open for better air circulation. And we've been doing that as the weather allows in Daly City, of course, because it can get very cold in the building. Question 4, is there anything you feel is important for the Daly City libraries to know as we start to reopen for in-person? Limited capacity. Someone said in a very nice response, you all have done a great job seeing us through this. Thank you, with many exclamation points. People want to see their local branch, John Daly, open more often. Half day, twice a week isn't enough. People say, we appreciate you and everything you do. We love our libraries and are so excited to be able to use them in person again. And Teresa, you know, we only got 9 responses, but that's been the overwhelming verbal response we get from people coming into the building, is like how much they're happy that we're back in person. And that is the extent of the questions. Do you have any question about the survey? Of course, beyond wanting to see more people do it, which is also my thought on it.
No, I was just jokingly saying that. I apologize. I didn't mean it anyway so far. I was wondering if it was in another source or form, like in an actual piece of paper, you know, when patrons come in, you know, not everybody will have access to a computer or even, you know, available for them to complete that.
That's an excellent point. And I know
So
for this,
I was just, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's an excellent point. And for this one, it was while we were closed, we do have a print one that we distribute for our standard survey, which is your satisfaction with our services and collections. So we will continue to distribute that. And of course, we have a suggestion box, which is not a formal survey, but I can get any particular suggestions that people have, and that's often consulted as well.
Okay. Thank you so much. Fellow trustees, do you guys have anything to add? Or are we moving to the next one?
Nothing to add. Thank you for sharing.
Okay. Okay. So we have collaborating with the other boards and commissions. So I think that was still in the process, and with the COVID and the pandemic, I don't think anything as for now is steady as far as, and I see that Mr. Stokes is shaking his head, he's agreeing because of, you know, what we're going through. So we can still have that as a continue one of our announcements or one of our agenda building for next meeting. So we'll go ahead if anybody else wants to add about that. If not, we're moving to the next one. Okay, so now it's Miss Victoria. This is your time, a report from the DCPL. Okay, welcome back. I saw on beautiful pictures of your vacation. It just makes me jealous.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys for having me. Sarah already mentioned earlier that the DCPLA gave a grant to the city. Well, we haven't officially given it yet. On June 26th, the DCPLA President Brian Dossi will present to the city a grant from Danford Fisher Hanig Foundation for $3,500 for summer learning programs. So the timeliness of the presentation on summer learning is perfect. We're very happy to be able to supplement the funding from the city for that. We wholeheartedly, support everything the library does, but, especially in this time when school has been not ideal. And, we always worry about the summer slide, as they call it. And I think this year, especially, anything that we can do to support supplementing students' education is extremely valuable. So that's the main thing we have right now. If anybody is able to attend that city council meeting at 7 p.m. on July 26th, you can see the official presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Victoria. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay. So announcements and communications. So just to let you guys know ahead of time that October 16, so Bayshore is doing it's supposed to be the 3rd annual block party, but now it's going to be the 2nd annual block party. And I would love for our libraries to be there, to have a table, and then also we can actually have printed out those surveys there for the community to see, and then have a suggestion box over there, just introducing ourselves. Hopefully we can advocate and maybe inspire somebody there to come and fill our 2 empty seats. The other one is the National Night Out for August 3rd. I also would love for us to have a table there. Look at myself just putting ourselves there.
Teresa, can you send those dates to me?
Okay, sure.
Send those?
Sure.
Yeah, because I would be happy to.
Yes. And then the last thing is for August 7, Pitt is doing a backpack drive-by at Bayshore, and that's from 9 to 12. So I'll have all those dates shoot out to you, Sarah. And Sarah was acknowledged at Peninsula Family Services 87 Child Development Center for a beautiful job, well done, for able to read to our little guys. And thank you for that. That's it from my end, ladies. Do you guys have any announcements or any shared communications?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. None for me either. Thanks, Teresa, for sharing those. If you can also would you mind sending those by email also, anything that you have, so we can share it with our networks as well?
Yes,
Especially if
ma'am.
we're going to have a table there.
Yes, so mark those dates. So if you guys have a date, we're going to date at the table for 2 days. Okay. And then agenda building items for next meeting. I put here, I have your policies again to revisit those. And then second, hopefully we'll, the eliminations of fees, hopefully we'll have something from after the city council meeting. And then I need to have a conversation of how do we able to fill up our seats, our empty seats? What do we need to do? So those are the only 3 things I have right now, unless my fellow trustees have anything else to add. Or anybody, Mr. Stoll or Johnson or Sarah, Victoria?
One thing to add, and it is that we are going dark in August with city council, commission, and board meetings. So the next meeting for the library board would be September it would be the, I'm not sure what date it is now. I think the 14th, maybe,
September 14th?
or 20. I'm not sure what it would be on the calendar, but September will pick back up. We're also shooting for our reopening to be after Labor Day for the city, but we are also tracking very closely the Delta variant and how that's impacting operations. So I've been announcing to commissions that we're reopening in September. Can't wait to get back to in-person meetings, but we actually might have to push that date out a little bit depending on what happens. So we're just trying to stay in concert with county health guidelines.
Okay. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
I would just like to add that thank you for suggesting those events, and I could be happy to put them in the newsletter as well to get community interest. And
Sure.
we rely on you, our community members, to tell us about events that we can be a part of. So that's great.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Okay. Public comment. So do we have any public comment?
There's no one here in the meeting, and I believe Cole just shook his head no for any emails received. So no public comment.
Well, with that, the meeting is adjourned at 7:03. Again, I want to thank everybody for being here today and able to share and revise. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week and stay safe. And we're going dark in August. Yes.
Yes. Thank
So-
you, everyone.
So when we come back, we have a lot to report back. Thank you very
Good night.
much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks and good night.
Good night.